we shift towards the case of South Africa here, keep in mind that the influence and the structure of the INC is important for the eventual pro-democracy movement of the African National Congress, or the ANC. In your reading, you will note from the chapter from Saunders that there are several main figures. Go ahead and pause the slide here, take down some notes, see who you think are the main figures. When I went through the reading in the chapter by Saunders, I noted several key characters. First, Mark Kulansky, the author of 1968, The Year That Rocked the World, Frantz Fanon, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., Christian Barnard, the individual who first created a successful heart transplant in 1968 and whose heart transplant operation was very important because proved that there weren't inherent differences between individuals of different races to some people who had been following the apartheid rhetoric. Additionally, Oliver Tambo, president of the ANC and head of Umkhonto we Sizwe, or the MK, the militant revolutionary organization that eventually became the ANC. Additionally, you might have noted Helen Suzman, the Progressive Party's sole MP in 1968, who continued until 1989 as the only individual who was white in the parliament under the apartheid regime that did not explicitly support apartheid. Other important figures in Saunders' chapter are the students of the medical school at the University of Natal, the National Union of Students members, some 20,000 to 30,000 of these predominantly white students, Steve Biko and Rafi Kaplinsky, who were student leaders, John Forster, who was head of the Afrikaner National Party, the right-wing to far right-wing group that backed the Afrikaners in their establishment of the apartheid regime. Additionally, Archie Mafehe, the black South African anthropologist and lecturer, was a prominent figure in the university culture, as well as Basil de Oliveira, also known as Dolly, a cricket all-star who's very important and had a characteristically multiracial background and family, who was described under the rhetoric of the apartheid regime as, quote, a colored person, or somebody who was part South Asian as well as part African as well as part white. Often in examinations of the apartheid regime and the anti-apartheid movement, there is a dramatic emphasis on the end of the movement, the end results. Once Mandela is finally released from prison and apartheid and its regime is finally ended. But in the Saunders chapter, you get an earlier picture of the origins of the anti-apartheid movement among student organizations in the 1960s. So, after reading this chapter, what are the critical events in the reading and why? How do you see these as significant turning points, and why? Go ahead and make a quick post, and then we'll get the discussion going.